Live 680 News.
680 News Traffic Alert.
This is Carrie Proudie News Traffic Center. Northbound 427 from Finch to Highway 7. All lanes have now reopened. They just reopened all lanes north 427 at Finch, so we still have a heavy backup from Rexdale. The 680.
So if you don't know, there was
You're listening to
what do you call it, a spree shooting in Atlanta. They're saying something about a sex addict who frequented the places. That's what the cops just said.
And 680's Moment Qureshi's been on this story for us during his live now with some of the latest details.
Moment. Steve, police in Georgia have the 21-year-old white male suspect in custody. Now, one of the clips that has gone viral today is this described by Georgia law enforcement describing a person who was accused of killing 8 people.
The investigators they interviewed him this morning, they got that impression that yes, he understood the gravity of it, and he was pretty much fed up and kind of at the end of his rope, and yesterday was a really bad day for him, and this is what he did.
So they just said that somebody who was accused of killing 8 people, including 7 women, 6 of Asian descent, was having a bad day. Now, police say that in their conversations with the suspect, he says that he was motivated by partly having a sex addiction. However, Steve Usinsami from ABC News says looking at this as a hate crime is still very much part of the investigation.
If he's struggling with a sex addiction, this paints a slightly more complicated picture than I think that people were seeing in this case. That doesn't mean that investigators have ruled out the racial component here. They are still absolutely investigating that.
Reporting live, I'm Moment Qureshi.
And happening now, let's go live to the City of Toronto's COVID briefing.
A day I know on which people celebrate great joy, and everybody wants to be Irish, but I think it's best if we keep those celebrations, things that happen within your own home and with people you live with, just in the interests of public health. We will make up for it soon, but that day will come sooner if we don't party today. The City of Toronto continues to work with all of our healthcare partners, pharmacies, and Toronto Public Health to administer every dose of COVID-19 vaccine that we can get from the Government of Canada. To date, 298,992 COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered to people in Toronto, and that's before we count the vaccinations done today, including at our newly opened
Oh,
clinic.
damn, I got money.
Three of our city-run clinics opened their doors a few hours ago. It was a pleasure to visit the vaccination site with the Chief Peg and Dr. DeVilla and Councillor Cressy at the Scarborough Town Centre this morning as it readied to open. This is another big step forward.
Front, I got a deposit of $300. My balance is now $300.30.
Again, I encourage anyone who was born in 1941 or earlier.
I wasn't sure where this update was going to go. I thought we had huge numbers.
Our city clinics have the capacity to provide almost 1 million doses.
You don't know, I don't pass out till the sun comes up. I wake up around noon. That's to do with the oxygen, but I didn't know that before.
Our hospital and healthcare partners are running 21
for years I didn't know
today
that.
in the City of Toronto, many of which are also vaccinating 80-plus seniors. I want to thank our immunization task force led by Chief Matt Peg for the work.
There are a lot more than 80 seniors in this province, John.
Of these clinics.
What kind of fucking mayor of a province are you, John? Where's the other mayors and chairs, John?
Is absolutely vital and it will help
you wanted to hear this guy uninterrupted, you know how to find him.
You can see from visiting 2 of the 3
clinics
that
all that
opened
Facebook work,
today,
not really real work.
The amount of work that's been involved in getting those ready. They've been ready.
Not realizing I have money to get through the day.
We're
That
opening
tells me
today
something
because
about me.
of supply-related considerations. Today, Dr. DeVilla will be detailing her ongoing discussions with us here at the City of Toronto and with her colleagues at the province of Ontario about the current public health measures in Toronto. My role in these discussions has been, as always, to ask many questions about the health situation, but at the same time to draw attention to the other factors which must form part of the overall judgment. First, and in no particular order, the psychology of the people who we serve and are always working to protect. Secondly, the realities of the broader region in which we live. And finally, the state of the economy, last but not least, and the businesses and the people who make it up. Both Toronto and Peel are asking for modifications to the gray zone framework designation. In our daily discussions,
which is probably not a huge problem in nature, but I'd like to avoid getting it on the seeds.
First, the science is clear. Cases are going up across the province. Cases of the variants of concern are on the rise.
Make sure you bring your bank card
we need to continue to be cautious.
or the
Second,
store or whatever, because
based
you
on
will
that
look like a
science and our
fucking
commitment to
idiot.
saving lives and protecting health, we cannot let
I'll
our
be
guard
Mr.
down
Bean.
at
I'll
the
just stick my
government
finger in
level
the
or at the
POS.
individual level.
And what's this
That's why
say
she is
about
recommending
Huawei?
some modifications to gray
Holy
rather
fuck,
than
the
a
screen
move
is almost
to the red zone.
precisely.
Well, I've always understood the need
That's
for a
what you were
framework with
comparing
some
it to when you came up with this
established
form
parameters.
factor,
This
wasn't
is a
it? You wanted
big,
to fit in
diverse
someone's
province, and this is a very big city.
1992.
Different in
Imagine
many
a
ways
picture of
than
me holding a
others.
device like
So
this
to
next
me,
to
it
my
has always
credit
been
card.
less
First
about
of all, wouldn't
colors
have
at
this
any given
shit.
point in time, and more about what makes the most sense, taking all of the factors I mentioned into account. That's why we are continuing to encourage people to follow the public health advice, to wear masks, and to keep their distance from others. And that's why we are pushing out vaccines as fast as the supply allows.
Last night she gave me, oh, you gotta check this out. She makes stuffed patties. This time it was a stuffed bagel.
We also know that those restrictions
A
must
cheese bagel, which I'm not overly familiar with. It's like a cheese bun, but it's a bagel. Toasted, buttered,
with warmer weather coming,
and stuffed with
being
cheese.
distributed,
Oh my
and
god.
regions around us with fewer restrictions, public health
I should be
officials are
one of them big
recommending
old
some
boys from
modifications
like
to the gray zone
Midwest.
based on all of these considerations led by the data.
You know
Similar
my
to the
genetics
change we
play
made,
towards
for
that,
example,
except
in
for
the
the sickle
province
cell.
for church services
Hey
just
John, if you got
last
something
week.
useful to say, I'll shut up.
President DeVilla will detail
Hey,
these
can you
ongoing discussions,
stop
but two
hitting my
areas we have been
phone?
considering
I
include
swear to God, within
outdoor
seconds of
dining
getting on
and
here,
outdoor fitness and exercise,
Right,
where we have some past
my phone's doing that
outdoor
weirdo shit again. It
experience
wasn't doing it
in
an
these
hour ago.
areas and keeping people safe. I want to stress
And that's how
these
you
are
figure out,
ongoing
you know, discussions.
Nothing has been finalized at this point, and changes to the gray zone, of course, would
Oh,
have
by
to
the
be
way, that's
made
also why it
by the
pays to set up
province.
your email alerts
No
for your
one should
bank
start
account.
making changes. No one should start making plans or placing orders right now, but we do want people to be aware that these discussions are taking place. Throughout the pandemic, the province has worked with us and listened to our local public health advice. And we hope to continue that cooperation around this very important
This phone
issue.
will run like 6 days. 93% right now it says 1 hour 32 minutes. You guys are fucking around. You really are. In fact, you took the percentage and turned it into minutes. That's 92 minutes versus 93%. You guys are
It is
playing.
encouraging to know that
Fucking
today,
ridiculous. Look at
a
my
year
phone.
after the provincial emergency was first declared in response to COVID-19, we are rolling out all the
There was a
vaccines we
network
have
error. The
to
message
fight
list could not
this
be
virus. While we can't gather together again this year, that makes it a
refreshed.
happier St. Patrick's Day than might have been the case at this time last year. I would now ask Dr. DeVilla to present her remarks for today.
Thank you, Mayor Tory, and good afternoon. Today, I'm reporting 576 new cases of COVID-19. 290 people are in hospital, and 50 people are in the ICU. I'm sadly also reporting the deaths of 5 people today. The current number of cases screened positive for variants of concern is 3,920. As you've
Well,
just
somebody
heard, we've
shot
been
up
in conversation with the province and
car,
specifically with the
But
Chief
they're not
Medical
100% sure if the
Officer of
bullet
Health
holes in this car
about
are
where
from
next
this
to
shooting.
take Toronto
So I'm not sure how they know
within
there's
the
a shooting.
provincial COVID-19 framework. At this
They're looking
time,
for a white Jetta.
it is my
So
view
if you see
the
a
data
white
do not
Volkswagen,
support the kind of
because how many
reopening
Volkswagens
that
could
would
be Jettas?
provided for
Jetta, the
under
Passat,
the
and some of the
red zone
Golfs.
designation.
Now the Golf looks like a fox or a rabbit. Oh,
We anticipate that the province will announce its decision formally on Friday.
if you see Herbie the
In our
Love Bug,
conversations,
you better have a damn
indicated
bazooka
an
deal with him.
openness
You ever see that motherfucker? He's like Chris King. You throw him off a fucking bridge, he comes up the other way. Me. Oh,
Particularly
shit,
outdoor-focused activity. I've always said
like
that in my
maximum
duties as
overdrive
medical
before
officer
Stephen
of health,
King started making
I would
movies.
be guided, like
We all know
all
Stephen King,
public
the
health
famous movie maker.
practitioners, by the responsibility to champion public health and by data that paint a clear picture
What about
about the
Worf?
right course of
What about
action.
Jordy? Nobody ever talks about him. The
Facts
Worf is wearing
and
makeup and he's an
data
alien.
have
Okay.
always formed the
Jordy's
basis for
obviously
my
black. So
advice
is Uhura.
and perspective. Facts and data have led us along
If
a
your
very
kids come
difficult
out with
but
this,
necessary course
it's,
of action.
look at that.
And facts and
Isn't
data
that, that's not, I don't
have
use
led to
any
support
product
for
except for like
change
some type
or
of dish
reversing
soap.
course. We are moving into a new season and warmer weather. And we have evidence.
Well, we're doing that pretty much,
that outdoor
I was about to say
activity is
24/7.
lower risk
6 months out of the year,
than
we're doing that
indoor
24 hours a day, eh? Give it a warmer, and then 6 months it gets
Everyone
colder.
sees
It's warmer,
the exhaustion
it's
within the
colder.
city
Like the whole
as
last
it
year
relates to
and change
all
we've
the
been dealing with
limitations
this.
COVID-19 has forced upon us.
Go back to this day last year.
This is understandable
On this channel, anyway.
and inevitable.
I found the 3 coolers with
This
the
is why
Aboriginal style
modest steps forward
bears
in the realm of outdoor activity are a good proving ground.
When intended to
this
get drunk,
time.
the only one that got drunk for
If
Patrick's
in
Day.
the window of the next few weeks,
You
the
daily
data
drink.
indicate course
You
corrections are necessary.
chronic alcoholics don't count. You got to
course
stash alcohol
corrections
somewhere. You
can
know
be
where to
made.
get it. Back of your head. Alcoholics are
certainly
great at
take
math.
the
They can
view
figure out percentages of
that
alcohol
in the
content
invariant
and then
environment,
other
the
ingredients.
course
the sugar
correction
and
must
some
be
things.
swift and decisive should the outbreak's pace of expansion
I'll be
sound
regular
alarm
as-
bells. I will not hesitate to call for actions in this instance.
What are you talking about?
In public health, all or nothing
I hope this
is
shit makes you
seldom
people
a
laugh.
workable solution.
No, this is how you know it's not just
Certainly, at the
Dutch.
height of the pandemic, at
It's
its
not just
most
Dutch, it's
dangerous,
Afro-Dutch.
there
But
was widespread
the
support for very
Afro-Canadians that
strong
gave me some of it
restrictions
are not the same as
to bring
the
under control the threat to ourselves and to our healthcare system.
Negro-landers that
Today,
gave me the other half of
Our
it.
long-term care and retirement home populations are better protected than at any other point in the pandemic. Steady progress is being made to vaccinate people 80 years and older, and healthcare workers
I can feel my heartbeat and my knee
and vaccine
creaking as I'm
supplies
leaning on it.
will continue
No,
to
that's not high blood
increase.
pressure. That's normal.
And we know that as spring arrives, people will be able to spend more time outdoors.
And this is why
What I've described for
You
you
wear your
today
headscarf
represents
bandana
change
wet.
that can be tried given our
evaporative
current
cooling keeps
circumstances.
the sun and the air
But
off. It
these
keeps the
are
air gap. It
incremental
wicks away the
changes.
sweat and it
And they are
evaporates
cautious
it, which is
and
evaporative
can
cooling.
be
Swamp cooler.
reversed if
Put
circumstances
it on wet.
demand.
Even after it dries, it still works.
So I'd like to restate a few key points. We all need to fully understand what might happen at any point as we move ahead
Okay,
in
what
the
I'm
next
doing here is
stretch
trying
of
to grade
time.
my bandanas. I have a good black one and a good
First
blue
and
one,
foremost,
and I have a
the
black and blue one with
pandemic
holes.
continues.
We know, woman.
Variant
Anything useful?
infections have risen steadily.
In China, they told
It's
people to
slowly.
try TCM because 95% of people
Even
did, and it worked
small
for them.
steps forward, permitting additional outdoor activities, do not signal that the threat has been reduced to an extent that we can let our guard down when it comes to self-protection. In fact,
Condoms and machetes
each
all day,
step
bitch.
forward is a reminder that we've
Not in
got
the same
to
pocket,
up
though, 'cause
our game.
they defeat each other's purposes.
We are increasingly moving around, and we have to do it masked and at a distance, and with every other practical consideration we can make to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and lower the risk of becoming infected with it. The more we can reduce the spread of
I gotta do all this just to go get
through
coffee, eh?
distance
Like,
and
you don't
masking
understand. We're
the
gonna
more
coffee in a minute.
effective
Yeah,
our
I would. I'm not
vaccination
allowed to fucking cop
efforts
shop till I
will
do.
be.
Craziest dress code in the world.
Finally, today, a quick plea again to support
What do they
getting
call these?
80-year-olds vaccinated.
You see them trying to sneak up.
Parents,
They're trying to get into my
grandparents,
eardrum
aunts,
and puncture it
uncles,
to reach the
friends,
brain.
neighbors, whomever you know.
This one's gonna
that's
grow
80
straight
and
out, so I
over.
don't notice how long it is. But
Please,
and then
reach
one day
out
it'll
to
hit
them.
me in the face.
Ask them about their plans to be vaccinated and offer to help them, whether it's to book an appointment, whether it's to get to a clinic, or whether it's to arrange a call to their own doctor to talk about getting vaccinated.
That's helpful. All my doctors
We
are dead.
know that people trust
I outlive
their
my
own doctors.
doctors. I outlive
And
my
we know
doctors.
that a problem
I
shared
outlive my
is a
doctors.
problem
And now I'm
halved,
an independent
and many
pharmacist.
times a problem solved.
Hey,
Please think
pharmacists
about the
study drugs.
80-year-olds in your
Doctors
life
don't.
who've come through this
Think about
past
that.
year and help them make their years ahead safer.
Even nurses got to know more
As
about
ever,
drugs and doctors because the
for
nurses
all
who
of
ends up
us,
giving you the
What
injection.
happens in the future
Or delivering the
relies
meds or
in
whatever, not
large
the doctor.
part
Think I'm
on
fucking
what
joking.
we do,
You ain't spent enough time
how
on the
diligent
sidewalk.
we are
Oh,
about
Jesus,
mask
what is this all
wearing
here?
and distance, and how respectful we are of COVID-19's continuing capacity to resurge if we're not careful in our actions and our
But if
choices.
you each plus a spare, and still.
I'll now hand it over to Chief Peg to deliver his
I should buy
remarks.
some bandanas today. That's what I should do.
Thank
You
you.
won't even
Good
believe me if I tell you I got
afternoon.
$5 to my name after all this.
At 11 o'clock this morning, we successfully commenced operations in the first 3 of the
That's only
city-operated
because I received what I was going to
COVID-19
buy
mass
earlier
immunization
before I got the
clinics.
money.
At present,
Residents 80 years of age and older are receiving their first dose of Pfizer vaccine inside the Metro Toronto Convention Center, Scarborough Town
I
Center.
knew there was something
and
about
the
that
Toronto
convention
Congress
center. That's some type of government base. They handing out mass
1,350
vaccinations
people
over there.
have appointments to be vaccinated in our city-operated clinics today. Appointments in all 3 of these clinics are fully booked from today through Sunday. As of my last update, there were still appointments available on Monday next week and each day thereafter. Appointments are continuing to book up steadily.
I love this
As of
guy's
10 o'clock this morning,
be in charge
more than
of
21,000 people have successfully booked their vaccination
Tell me I'm saying his name wrong?
in city-operated
He's
mass
speaking the wrong
immunization
damn language.
clinics. Beginning today and through Sunday, March 21st,
I know what happened.
a total of
Your Anglophone mother
1,350 people are able to be vaccinated in our city-operated clinics each day. On March 22nd, our capacity jumps to 4,320 vaccinations per day. On March 29th, our capacity jumps again to 6,300 vaccinations per day in our city-operated clinics, with both Melbourne Community Center and Mitchell Field coming online.
Grape juice.
On April 5th, our capacity once again increases to 8,100 vaccinations per day in our city-operated clinics, with clinic operations inside the hangar
heirloom
in
carrots
Park
yesterday.
coming online.
Here's the problem.
And finally,
They were yellowish
after
orange.
April 12th, our planned capacity will increase to more than
They're not
18,000
heirloom. They should be
doses per day,
purple.
with our
Why
final
aren't they
3
purple?
city-operated
They're not
mass
purple. They're not
immunization
heirloom. They're
clinics
mutations
at North
of a
Toronto
selectively bred
Memorial
plant.
Community Center, Carmine Stefano Community Center, and
I know it's all
Cloverdale Mall,
marketing, but you're
all coming
lying.
online. This, of course, is all dependent on the continued availability of vaccine. Just a few moments ago, I spoke with the clinic managers who are on site in each of our 3 clinics. Clinic operations are running smoothly, and the pace of operations is consistent and appropriate with the needs of those being vaccinated. We have mobility assistance devices on site, along with trained healthcare professionals and emergency first responders on site, who are helping anyone who requires assistance in moving through the clinic. Each of
In
the
an emergency, whoever
city-operated
shows up
mass
first, the
immunization clinics
emergency
will
first
operate between
responder.
11 a.m. and 8 p.m.
I
7
know
days
that
per
can't be
week.
true. This is plastic. And this
I
is
remind
cardboard.
everyone
Don't
that
fucking lie.
vaccinations
You stop
are
making
only
these out of
available by
cardboard, I might
appointment
fucking buy this
and
shit.
are not available on a walk-in basis. I strongly encourage everyone who was born in 1941 or earlier to make your appointment for vaccination
I'm not sure
now.
why that one won't fit my head. But this
If you
one
have
does.
an Ontario Photo Health Card,
Why would I
you can
need
book
that?
using the online registration system, which can be accessed 24 hours per day at COVID-19.
So about 4 years ago, they're like, oh, we're going to make it mandatory that the red and white cards will no longer be valid.
The provincial
Well, of course, it's at their whim to do that. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, up until about 95, there was no photo on a health card. It's a red and white card.
The provincial call center is
And
available.
if you still
from
have
8
it, you can
a.m.
still use
to
it.
8 p.m.
They can't force you to
7
switch
days
to a
per
photo
week.
card because it is not a form of
Please do not
identification.
contact 311 nor Toronto
Wait,
Public
what?
Health
Yeah, I know.
for
That's
assistance in booking your COVID-19
and now you can use it
vaccination
to buy
appointment,
cigarettes and open a
as
bank
our
account.
staff are not able to access the
You can do
COVAX
that
system
too.
on your behalf. At present, only those who were born in 1941 or earlier are able to book appointments
Oh,
in
that's a good
city-operated
time.
mass immunization clinics. In order to avoid placing unnecessary loading on the booking
How
system,
do I load this up
we
and give it a
ask
more
those
delay?
who do not meet those eligibility criteria to avoid trying to access the online booking system
Why?
until such time as you are eligible
How
for vaccine.
fragile is your booking
This
system,
will help to
bro?
ensure an
Because I
efficient
know
and
at least a
effective
dozen
booking
girls that could do
process
this
for
for me. I
everyone
just need a phone
as we
that
move
works,
forward.
some notebooks and pens.
If you choose not to book an appointment now, or
You
if
can't
you are
figure this shit
unable to
out?
book your appointment for
Seriously?
any reason, rest
Oh,
assured your opportunity to book your appointment will continue.
Tell me what I can do, bro.
Once you are eligible for vaccination under the
these
provincial
motherfuckers, yeah.
vaccine priority framework, you remain eligible to book your appointment moving forward. Please help us maintain effective clinic
toys for the
loading
mice.
by not coming to a clinic until
And
you
they're
have a
orange.
confirmed
Those are like
appointment.
orange.
And please continue
Bank
to
card?
monitor
I can't give you my bank card. I don't have
toronto.ca/COVID-19 for the most up-to-date information on immunizations in Toronto. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Peg. We'll go first to Matt Bingley from Global News. And just a reminder to please unmute yourselves before you ask your question. Go ahead, Matt.
Hi, good afternoon. Chief Peg, just outside the Scarborough Town Centre this morning, it was quick to sort of notice there were some issues there, lineups without any physical distancing outside. Some people pointing out that they had difficulty finding their way to the location because of the lack of signage. And just down at the MTCC, there is a rather large ramp that people have to get up, and someone with mobility issues might have some issues there. I realize it is the first day, but I'm just wondering how quickly you'll be working to address some of these issues as they come up.
Scarborough's got some fucked up shit.
Sure, and well said, Matt. It is the first day. So let me answer those in sequence. So with respect to Scarborough Town Centre,
we've got like the same type of fucking industrial bullshit around us.
Some feedback this morning with respect to suggesting some additional outdoor signage that just directs people to primarily the parking location in the inside or in the Scarborough Town Centre in order to access the clinic. So we're working on that already, and those things are underway. The loading issues.
I'm neither pro nor anti-vaxxer. I just keep bitching why is there mercury in it. I keep pointing out how you're doing this wrong. Am I offering to do it right? No, because I don't believe your vaccine is going to make a difference. Why? Because it's a year old already. This virus don't just mutate; it transcends species boundaries, which are just in our own mind anyway. So it doesn't matter if you vaccinate all the humans. You've got this idea you're going to vaccinate everybody forever. That's what they thought about parvovirus, not B19, but the parvovirus dogs get, which is a synthetic virus they made to kill off stray dogs. That's why you have to get a parvovirus injection, so they can sell them forever. That's the only reason why. Only now what we're seeing is quite a few dogs who don't get those injections. They live. And some of them we know for a fact contracted parvo and still live. It's a horrible virus. It is a horrible virus. But it's in the dirt. It's in the ground. It's everywhere. Every dog that's been vaccinated, every time they piss and shit, they're putting on the virus. Is my understanding. They don't like to talk about this.
Because as people will be quick to point out, you could get a haircut outside. How far-reaching do you want these measures to be sort of relaxed?
So, Matt, at this point in time, we've certainly had discussions around such things as outdoor dining and outdoor fitness, primarily because we've had experience with those, and we have some data and facts to back those discussions. But certainly, I don't preclude discussions on any of the items that might be outdoors, because we know for a fact that activities that are undertaken outdoors are clearly much lower risk than those that are indoors. And of course, the risk does start to drop even more as more and more of us are able to undertake vaccination. Now with the opening of the mass immunization clinics and the increased supply that seems to be coming.
And you've been listening to the City of Toronto's briefing here on 680 News. More on what the mayor and Dr. Davila had to say coming up.
Which is not the worst thing in the world. I'm trying to avoid storing up more.
Have yourself a great afternoon. 680 News Time, 2:30.
Musty grapes. This is all you got for us. It's 2:30. Tell us. Tell us. Oh, you hate hear that word. Now shut up. Can't tell? Shut up. About this shooting, motherfucker.
Wednesday, the 17th of March. I'm Sljana Timintik. And I'm James Monroe. Here's what's making news right now. Bullets fly between vehicles on a busy GTA highway. No injuries. The police now searching for the occupants of a white sedan. Toronto's top doctors says the city isn't ready to move out of the gray zone next week. Dr. Eileen Davila recommending modest changes to the framework, with nearly 600 new cases of COVID-19 reported in the city today.
Seniors thrilled and relieved.
I could bluff it if everybody was saying it.
Get it over with and get rid of this pandemic.
Let's do it.
It's day one for the city's mass vaccination clinics.
The White House says Canada and Mexico are at the top of the list for U.S. COVID vaccine exports as the EU threatens to limit them.
I could get weird calls there.
Let's see what happens. 2 million doses next week. NBA starter
Wagwan.
Patch had to leave today's Grapefruit League game with an injury.
Wagwan, what up?
Raptors get the Pistons at 7, and Jack Campbell could return this weekend.
Yo.
Sports at 45.
Yo, nigga, Wagwan. You need them things? What up? Dog, you got that guap? Tu avais le don. J'ai besoin de don. Okay.
Said private.
Right lane is blocked. A heavy backup.
I'm a captain. That's a private. I thought I should answer it.
That
joke is horrible.
From the 427 to the 400
So you have to be above a certain rank to hear it.
Vehicle is on the westbound QEW at Winston Churchill. That's blocking
The
the right
government destroyed all
lane.
records of that
Stand on
joke.
the westbound
Jesus
QEW
Christ.
as you approach Aaron
Unbelievable
Hills
they
to
paid for
Winston
it.
Churchill. Northbound on the 427, a reminder that all lanes have reopened at Finch, but we have a
Why
slow
did they
go up
close?
towards the top end northbound 427
Is this
from the
shooting?
407 onto the Highway 7 ramp. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, that's filling in quickly from Baby Bloor to north of Lawrence. And we have volume delays on the westbound 401 from Huron, Ontario and the Express, and from Mavis and the Collectors to approaching Mississauga Road. On city streets, northbound Kennedy approaching the 401, the center lane is blocked with a collision. Traffic is backed
You
up
got a
from
bag of day olds
Ellesmere.
for me?
Hakeem
That'd be
Optical's
$3.
Hello
The
to
coffee be
Spring
$2.
sale
I
is
would
in
only,
full
I would
bloom.
have $0
Buy 2
left
pairs
over.
of
I'd be happy
glasses
the
with
rest of the
frames
day.
and lenses starting at $199. Professional.
I know some people would laugh at me for how I deal with money, but you haven't
Optical
seen how much
today.
money we deal with. So
And
it's,
now with the forecast,
I will
here's Jill
chase your ass
Taylor.
down for 30 cents. But
Temperatures well above average for us today. We'll climb to a guaranteed high 10 degrees. The average high is about 5. We'll get into some clearing, and then the clouds will build again tonight. Do have a chance of showers, a low near 2. For today, the guaranteed high 10.
Sunny skies in downtown Toronto now, 8 degrees. This is 680 News.
LPP now investigating a shootout between 2 vehicles on the 427.
680's Alex Bloomfield joins us live with the latest as a busy stretch of the highway has now reopened. Alex.
Yeah, James stoplight at around 10:30 this morning in the
Oh,
northbound
it's
lanes of the 427
the
north of Finch.
427.
OPP Sergeant Kerry Schmidt says one vehicle was left littered with bullet holes. The
Littered.
other driving
Simple
off.
littering.
Suspect vehicle is described
make every
as a
shot count.
Volkswagen Jetta, white in color. 3 occupants inside the vehicle as described by the victim.
And no one was injured. The highway reopening shortly after 2
lied,
following a
homeboy.
3-hour closure. It's part of a disturbing trend in the GTA, this kind of shooting over the past couple
Well,
of
he's the
years.
victim.
Most
Well,
recently,
see,
a pair of
if that person is the
battles on
victim,
401 in December.
it's equal opportunity.
Witnesses urged to come
Say it.
forward, especially those who may have dash cam footage from the Finch and 427.
You can just stand on the side of the road just like this. First of all, I don't want the people willing to hurt me to get confused to think somebody else is me. No, they'll know for a fact it's me because I have a doppelganger. Which is the same as an identical twin, except we're not related.
Seniors are hoping the luck of the Irish will be with them as they line up to St. Patrick's Day to get their long-awaited shot against COVID-19. 680's Mark Douglas joins us live outside the Scarborough Town Center Clinic with the latest. Mark.
So, Jan, it's a happy St. Patrick's Day indeed for the seniors here who are both going into and coming out of this mass vaccination clinic. I am hearing equal measures of anticipation and relief, especially from Victor and Margaret.
Get it over with. You know, let's do it.
Yeah, I believe in it. Get it over with and get rid of this pandemic. It's been a year, you know, it's kind of hard to get out of the house. Yeah, well, people
But do they believe their day-to-day lives will really change that much once they do get their shots?
Not very much.
No.
Have human beings in practice a form of quarantining and self-isolation before?
As you heard live on 680 News just now, the city will be improving the city, rather the signage here at Scarborough Town Center Clinic. People had trouble finding it. If you are on your way here now, or you have an appointment here in the next few days,
what I'm going to do.
clinic is in the old Hudson's Bay store. It's right across from the Cineplex.
For example, where the M is on my knee, I'm going to put
and you'll be basically right here. Now, the city's other 2 mass clinics are down at the Toronto Congress Center and at the Metro Toronto Convention Center downtown. For now, it'll be 450 vaccinations per day at each site. For Toronto residents 80 or older and only by appointment. Live at Scarborough Town Center, I'm Mark Douglas. This is 680 News. The province reporting an increase in new cases of COVID today. The chief medical officers for Toronto and Peel now advising against moving out of the gray lockdown zone. Here's 680's Irene Precklin.
It's one of the highest daily increases so far this month, 1,508 new cases. It's based on just over 49,000 tests, which does bring down the testing positivity rate a full % day over day to 3.5. It was a record-breaking day for vaccinations, more than 58,200. Dr. Lawrence Lowe, Peel's top doctor, says local trends have him recommending Peel region stay in the gray zone with some modifications when it comes to outdoor dining and exercise.
I continue to explore with my provincial partners how we can strike a balance between the improving weather, the need to adjust measures on account for community fatigue, the vaccine supply, and the growth of variants.
The province makes the final decision on where regions stand in the color-coded system. Those announcements usually come on Fridays. I'm Irene Precklett. Toronto's top doctor is echoing the sentiments of Peel Region's Chief Medical Officer.
What do you mean they usually could usually? That sounds
in the provincial framework. Dr. Arlene DeVilla says while Toronto has not yet met the parameters needed to move into the red zone, as the weather gets warmer, she wants to see the province lift some restrictions on outdoor dining in areas in the grey zone.
What I've described for you today represents change that can be tried given our current
sauce. It's like her secret ingredient.
These are incremental changes. And they are
I don't know if this exists as a stereotype. I got a feeling you have black people, young black people anyway, but Worcestershire sauce, they might not know what the fuck you're talking about. I got a feeling this is her secret ingredient. I feeling this is her secret ingredient. When I asked her what's going on, she looked at me funny like,
but the U.S. says Canada
I wasn't supposed to.
when it starts exporting.
I asked and she went,
the European Union faces vaccine shortages,
you know that answer you get? Yes.
The EU is once again talking about restricting exports, saying this is the crisis of the
century.
century.
I know what the problem is. Somewhere along the way, her grandma told her to not tell nobody her cooking secrets. So she's going to trap a man. Sorry, a trap. Did I say trap? And she's not maybe too happy with who's popping up saying, hey, I know what that is. What
Canada
is
and Mexico will be at the top of the list when American vaccine protectionism ends, and the White House allows doses produced in the U.S. to be sent to other countries. NDP House Leader Peter Julian says our reliance on other nations highlights the problems with the federal vaccination plan.
We haven't put into place the domestic vaccine production that's so important.
Next week, Canada's expecting record deliveries of 2 million doses. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
You're with All News Radio 680 News. The suspect in the Atlanta massage parlor shootings is already facing
massage parlor. You were calling them spas before. Now it's a massage parlor. Because the cop said the guy said, hold on. You got 8 dead people whose reputation, oh yeah, they all fucked this guy. That's why he's mad.
Is warning that organizations of all sizes need to protect themselves from a recently discovered vulnerability in Microsoft Exchange email servers.
The center has sent out an alert after receiving reports some of the servers haven't been updated with software patches that close the security gap confirmed earlier this month. It says some systems in Canada have been compromised with malicious software. Because of the security gaps, it can become the entry point for the installation of programs that secretly send out information or demand ransoms. Microsoft Exchange servers are widely used to handle email for businesses and public sector organizations. Dawn Kelly, the Canadian Press, Toronto. Gas prices are next.
It's distributed to the point where the people using it to attack us don't realize it works both ways. That's how fucking stupid these people are. That's why I sit here and bitch about it. I do not make any attempt to fix it.
Product demos and special home show offers. You may even pay no tax on select brands like GE Smart Appliances, Monogram Appliances, and customizable cafe appliances. Right now, GE Appliances save up to 25% plus save the tax on select cafe kitchen packages. Find these and other home show savings online and in store till March 21st.
I got it at TA.
Visit TAAppliance.com for a location near you.
Now the 680 News gas price update. I'm predicting the price will not change at midnight. We should stay at just under $1.27 a liter. Traffic and weather together.
Planning on this money at the beginning of the month. No, see, now the problem is
we'll make it easy for you.
It's the second half of the month.
Performance style and
psychologically.
There's only one choice: RAM. During the month of RAM, you get 20% off MSRP with up to $12,950 in total discounts on select 2021
There's a couple of comments.
classic models. Plus up to $3,000 in loyalty cash for select owners. The perfect choice.
If you're going to drive a Ram with an EcoBoost, you might as well just get the Volkswagen. You know, a diesel rabbit or something.
Introducing to DeWalt's 20-volt max system, the new professional range of outdoor power tools. Power through tall, thick grass with the 2x20-volt max brushless push mower, featuring two 20-volt max 10-amp-hour batteries, covering up to 75 minutes of runtime on a single charge. The high-performance DeWalt universal attachment 60-volt max DeWalt string trimmer and edger kit converts to a brush cutter, pole saw, and more. Attachments sold separately. Available at the Home Depot and independent retailers. 680 News Time, 2:41.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Jerry Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by Bosch. Westbound on the QEW at Winston Churchill, the right lane is blocked because of a stalled vehicle. Looks like this truck actually has a flat tire, so there is a heavy tow that just arrived on the scene and a heavy backup westbound QEW. It's jammed approaching Erin Mills to Winston Churchill. We also have a problem on the eastbound 401 approaching James Snow Parkway. The right lane is blocked blocked. Another stop vehicle there.
That,
a
right?
slow go eastbound 401 from east of Guelph line to
like Captain America.
Parkway. And it's busy from the 427 to the 400 express hand collectors. Westbound
this is Captain Planet 2020. We're the kids of those kids. And then you got Cyber Cops, which is originally called Cops, not the live action.
From Mavis and the collectors approaching Mississauga Road. Heading out of downtown on the westbound Gardner, it's getting busy from Bathurst to west of Strawn, and a slow drive northbound on the
Don Valley. You were raised up on TV and you don't even remember what you watched? That's even worse, because that's running in the back of your head all day.
North of the 407 onto the Highway 7 ramp.
I'll make notes
and northbound Highway 27 is jammed up from Rexdale to approaching Finch. We have single lane construction there. And problems in Scarborough, northbound on Kennedy at Progress. The center lane is blocked with a collision. It's backed up from Ellesmere. Love the German engineering of Bosch appliances. Get instant rebates of up to $2,300 on quality Bosch appliances. See Tasco Appliances for details. And now with the forecast, here's Jill Taylor.
If I can't take it apart and put it together with...
Average for us today will climb to a guaranteed high 10 degrees. Back into the clouds.
This is called a Red Robbie. It is a number 2
and
Robertson,
very windy with a few
which you'll probably call a square.
The rain should stay well to the south of us. Tomorrow's high 7. Friday, sunshine, a little bit of a cool down, the high near 4, but looking beautiful for first weekend of spring.
And these are called
Saturday, 12 on Sunday.
Got a machine head. It's better than the... You know why they invented these? Because these motherfuckers here, when you use them, they slip and you hit right in. The machine head, they're not for humans. Humans don't use those, only factories.
Excellent. I'll look forward to that video.
And it's the simplest screw to make. You just right to the head. If I can't take the whole thing apart, put it back together with one of these, I want to know. I'm not buying it. I'll feed it with a fucking baseball bat and a concrete brick. I'm not fixing it.
Look at the Irish on Wall Street as well. The Dow is up 200 points now, trading above 33,000. This is a record on the Dow after the U.S. Central Bank said it will hold off on interest rate hikes until at least 2023. The S&P is higher.
Now, can you explain how that means nothing? Because they're 12 privately owned banks, and no central bank anywhere can order a private retail bank what to do. They can't tell you what you have to charge. They don't lend money. What do they do?
This is 680 News. Being active is better than being reactive. Dynamic Funds doesn't just take what the market gives. Ask a financial advisor.